This week on SignDawgs, the people of signs manufacturing enter a whole new era as they upgrade one of the most important pieces of equipment in the shop to the most state-of-the-art version available. We visit Multicam, the company that makes this change possible, then the SignDawgs head out to Rendell RV to give their old worn-out sign a much-needed facelift. Every day we look at signs. Some are beautiful, others not so much. For a business, any business, a good sign is crucial. So where does a good sign come from? Who creates these tantalizing works of art? In the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, it's done right here by the people at Signs Manufacturing, the people we call the SignDawgs.
About 10 years ago, I decided that I was tired of the rat race, and so my husband and I decided to open up Rendell RV. We started with 5 used travel trailers. We carry normally about 75 units on the lot. The first sign that we ever made, my husband actually made it, and he did a great job at it, and it's lasted for 10 years. But we're here on the interstate, we still hear people telling us that they don't know that we're over here. And so we decided that it's time to let's do something about that. So we contacted Signs Manufacturing.
At this point, you should be wearing a hard hat.
The reason we went to get a sign built is, one, we need an expert, because obviously I've learned that you're not an expert in everything. Well, also we wanted a lit sign. The main reason we wanted to get a new sign is because for years I've heard and people said, well, we don't know that you're over there. We didn't even know you were there. And that's really concerning whenever you've been here for 10 years and there's still people out there that don't know you're here. The other reason is obviously over cost. It's very expensive. Finally, we had to just bite the bullet this year and make it happen.
Hi, I'm Ken Rock with Multicam. Multicam is a company that's been around for 30 years, and we build CNC cutting equipment to make large sheets of material into small parts. I cut anything from wood to acrylic to steel, aluminum, granite, marble, stone. If it's a sheet of material, Multicam builds a machine that can cut that big sheet of material into small parts. So think about it. Your kitchen cabinets, your granite countertops, the steel pieces in your car. All those types of cutting processes Multicam creates here in Dallas-Fort Worth at our 108,000 square foot facility out on DFW Airport property. Signs Manufacturing has been a customer of Multicam almost from its inception. They were one of the very first companies that placed their trust in us to buy a machine that would cut parts for them and allow them to build their signs more efficiently. Fast forward almost 30 years, and now they're buying the new and improved Apex 1R.
I'm the fabrication manager here at Multicam. I'm going to walk you through the process of how we make our machines. Most of our parts we make in-house ourselves. A lot of it starts right over here. All our structural raw steel comes in prior to being cut. We utilize our own machines to make product. After the structural steel gets cut on the saw, it comes over to the welding area where we weld up all our frames and our gantries. All the big components that you see on the frames, all the structural steel is welded in-house. Once the frames are completed and welded, they go on this big mill. This mill's the heartbeat of the company. There's not too many of them like it in the US. We run about two machines a day on this mill. And then the gantries, they go on a smaller mill over here. Once a frame is finished being machined, it comes back to the paint area where we wipe them down, clean them all up, tape them off, and paint them.
Hi, my name's Harley. I'm with Signs Manufacturing, and I was part of the team who put together the sign for Rendell RV. I received a phone call from Jeff from Rendell RVs stating they wanted a new sign. Unfortunately, they currently already had a pole sign, and to change that out and get it approved was difficult, so he was sort of disappointed. But what I suggested to him was that we could revamp his existing sign and turn it into something that could attract business to him. The original sign was just a blue box with white vinyl letters, probably about 14 to 15 inches tall, that you drove by, you had no idea what it was. The new letters, the 7-foot tall RV letters, they're illuminated. So it stands out from half a mile away, you see it, RV. So you know what he's selling and you know what he has.
There is nothing more boring than watching paint dry, except probably talking about watching paint dry. Until today. So at Signs Manufacturing, we despise seeing those signs out there with the paint chipping and fading and just looks terrible, and I feel sorry for those companies that decorate the front of their business with such an awful looking sign. So we don't do that. We use a product called SignDawgs, and it's a paint system that is automotive. It's hydromotive. Well, it's paint lightning. We use a paint called SignDawgs. SignDawgs is an automotive grade paint system. So it's actually been used on several cars by automakers under a different name, which I'm not going to tell you what that name is. But it's a very high quality paint that comes in metallic colors, and we have, you know, whatever color you need to match, we can cross-reference it. And it is a super high quality paint. We don't have any fading, any peeling, nothing. In fact, back in my salesman days, I would take a quarter out and I would take a little sample piece of metal that's painted using our SignDawgs, and I would take the quarter and try to scratch off some of the paint just to show the customers how durable it was. And the only thing I ever ended up with was a quarter that had a flat side on it. The paint was perfect. It's amazing stuff, and we love it. So, well, James, I know your paint system's awesome, but what about that vinyl graphics? The vinyl graphics on the front, it's still gonna peel up. That's correct, Mr. Viewer, it would peel up, except what Signs Manufacturing does is we don't stop just with the paint system, because we realize that the weakest link on your sign is probably that plastic. The sun, it makes that plastic brittle, sucks all the moisture out, makes it brittle, makes it fade. So we use a product called the Solar Guard. Solar Guard, I like to describe it as sunscreen, but for your sign. We put it over everything plastic, the faces, if you have channelers with trim cap, anything, we Solar Guard it. Vinyl graphics too. So even if you have El Cheapo bargain basement vinyl graphics, if you Solar Guard it, the life of those graphics they'll last you 5-10 years more. We don't use the El Cheapo vinyl, we still use the high performance vinyl. So our signs 30 years down the road, I kid you not, look brand spanking new.
Hi, my name is Julio Pierre. I'm with Multicam, and I'm the application manager here. This is the electrical room. This is where we assemble every single cabinet that goes on our machine. They go through every component and start building and put them together and assemble them for each cabinet, for each machine.
Hi, my name is Jesus, and I am the production supervisor. And I basically run the entire shift here, the assembly base, putting them together from the mechanical standpoint all the way to electrical, testing them and releasing them to QC. That's the first stage of this panel. It's already laid out. Everything has been bolted on into location. And then once this is completed, it gets taken over to one of our electrical assemblers here. She'll follow the schematics provided to her, and she'll start running the wires through all the harness, making sure everything's up and running. Once she is done, we will take the panel and put it into the designated cabinet that it belongs to, and then roll the cabinet out into the machine and cook it up and wire it together. So this is where the machines get basically assembled. The frames get put into a bay, and then we got the mechanical assemblers to come in. The mechanic could put the machines together, and then once they're done, the electrical team comes in and starts running the electrical harness machines, making sure they're all nice height and ready for everything to go and get tested, gets plugged into this designated location. And once that is complete, the machine gets powered on, gets loaded, the resolutions are set, the table gets milled and grid, then we will test it for them.
Every router that Multicam builds is equipped with a vacuum table. What that means is that we put plumbing up underneath the tabletop and then attach a very powerful vacuum unit that pulls air through that table to hold the material in place on top of the tabletop to allow the router to cut those parts without moving. Without vacuum, you'd have to somehow hold that sheet in place by screwing it to the tabletop, which is a time waster, or having someone with a ruler or something try to hold pieces in place as the router is cutting. Again, not a very safe method of doing it. So we came up with a way for the vacuum to come to the tabletop and allow the machine to hold that material in place from the full sheet and continue holding those pieces of material after it's been cut.
Well, thank you for watching our show. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video and visit the website wherever the button is, somewhere around here, and we'll see you next time.